I do have a question. My question would be, you have the ability to take any significant moment in pop culture, film, television, it can be a movie, music, game, and Lego is giving you a golden ticket to turn it into a Lego set. What are you picking to be your Lego set?
Oh, I know.
Street Fighter 6.
No. Who Shot Mr. Burns? You could get the city hall there. You could get Mr. Burns splayed out on the town sundial.
Sure.
And get Maggie in the car with the gun. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2.
Rude.
Now I'll never get to see it.
Yeah, I think that you could get the thing that he built to block out the sun. Oh man, this could be a hell of a Lego set. Anyway.
Well, so who shot Mr. Burns?
Maggie.
No, it was a rhetorical question, Johnny.
I know it was.
Okay.
Wow.
Sure you did.
What are we talking about?
I'm thinking. I just immediately thought of like really terrible ones that I could not say on the podcast.
JFK assassination.
Yeah, worse.
You get the book depository. You get the grassy knoll.
Mm-hmm. I
you get those little like single coin size ones for the brain matter and things.
I mean, Chase, there's so much anime that you watch. I'm imagining this would be a very easy thing for you to pick.
Well, I was trying not to do something Johnny, I was trying to do like a real life pop culture thing, like something based on something that happened in the world. Which is basically, here's what I want. I want a full, this is a little outside your question, but I want a full Lego series that is everything from We Didn't Start the Fire.
Wow.
Just every year you bring out another set.
I immediately hate what I asked.
Can we get the Fallout Boy version of that?
No, absolutely fucking not.
God damn it.
Bobby, what's yours?
I would love the ship in the lagoon scene from Goonies. I would love to see One-Eyed Willie ship with everybody hanging out on it.
Great.
All the Goonie
would also
kids.
Be like a throwback to the old pirate set.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
I think that would be an incredible set.
Really
JFK assassination, close second.
Yeah.
It's gonna get messy putting that one together.
They're already working on, or they are making like the Seinfeld apartment, right? So like
that one's out.
That
one's out. Yeah. So like they did it. They did the thing. They did the thing.
They did the thing. They've done some really cool. I think I would, from a gaming perspective, and I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. Something with Zelda. They've done a lot of Mario stuff. They've done some Sonic stuff now. I think Zelda could be a very easy thing to do a cool set piece for, like the Deku Tree or anything like that. Like that could be really cool.
They could. The problem with all of that though is that you've got Miyamoto in there going, well, these need to be toys. They can't be scenes. They can't be like cool. Like that was the whole thing with Mario. It's like, I'd really like a Mario Lego set, but then they were all like weird game within a Lego set things. They were all meant for interactive play, which I totally like. That's a cool idea, but that's true. They have done. And
I got the Nintendo.
The NES.
Yep.
Yeah, they've done.
But when it comes to like a game series, they did like all the Mario stuff they did was about like, hey, use this to make Mario jump, and like, okay, this is like a weird toy.
They did the Big Bowser one too, though.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. I would like Zelda. I would like them to do something cool with Zelda.
I think they could do some really cool, like the Lord of the Rings set recently is the one that made me think about that. I was like, wow, this is really. It could be like the Temple of Time or something,
I really wish that wasn't like $500 because I would absolutely buy that and the Millennium Falcon.
What if they made like the Death Star in Lego? Wouldn't that be cool?
Sarah just built the Sanderson sisters' house from
hey, there's a lot
Hocus
of Lego
Pocus.
sets. Maybe you didn't know about it. Hocus Pocus?
That one just came out. And they just announced the Chewie today. We might be picking that one up too. But yeah, that's something I think about. Like Sarah, there's a whole bunch of sets that my wife's gotten that there's a whole Lego idea series where if somebody basically builds an idea with a Lego set, They go into a forum with Lego, and then if it gets, I think 10,000 or 10,000 votes,
it's like a change.org.
then it goes basically, and they decide, like the A-frame cabin that she built, that was a Lego's idea. This Sanderson sister house was one as well. The one that she's
Back to the Future car, I think that
Yep.
might have been one of the first ones they did. I bought that.
Jaws is really close, and the rumor
Jaws
mill
is
is that their Jaws is turning 50 in 2 years, and it's probably going to launch around, because it's already cleared what it needs to. But anyway, Legos are really cool. I think that there's a lot of fun stuff they're doing with it. And Sarah and I have that conversation a lot, like, what would you want to see? And I wanted to see what you guys would want. And speaking of what nobody wants, tonight is a deep dive with Johnny, and we're really excited to get into it. A little sorry about it. If you're not familiar with what a deep dive is, this is where one of us brings whatever we want to the show to teach the other two about, or to reflect upon with the other two. And Johnny's got a very fun activity planned for the back half of the episode, but we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about some new stuff. There's been a few games that have dropped recently, and we're going to tell you about those. And then Johnny's going to take this damn thing over and get into the groove of a deep dive. How's that sound? How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Chase, there's a game I thought you would have on here, and I was not disappointed to see the said game. We are here to hear what you've been playing.
I'm a big gamer. I play all the new games.
You're playing games with me, I'll tell you that much. But
playing games 24/7. You can't stop.
Playing games with my heart, Chase.
What have you been playing, Chase?
I've been playing that Viewfinder.
Hey, me too.
Yeah.
How's the first level, Johnny?
There's no Cammy in Viewfinder.
Excuse me, I played through like the first 5 or 6 levels of it, and it's insanely cool.
All right, we gotta establish some ground rules here, because one, I need to say this is an incredible game, filled with incredible moments that I think people should experience on their own. A lot of things that I do not want to talk about because I do not want to spoil them. So we have to figure out how to talk about, I think, puzzle game. We can talk about
the core conceit of it,
and I think that we can also talk about what we streamed, because there's a demo for this at a Next Fest, and we have streamed it. We've played it on our channel, which basically we did the first 3 levels, I believe. The last level we did is the one where you first have to turn an image to make a path upwards.
Yeah, I would say let's keep it to that first area.
Yeah,
and mostly just talk about mechanics rather than talk about story stuff. Story stuff I think is really interesting. They kind of throw you into the world without much knowledge of what's going on. There are some kind of audio log style things in there that you can find that don't really make sense to you until you start piecing them together and hear more and more of them. And then they kind of reveal cool stuff of what you're actually doing.
What is Viewfinder first and foremost? Like,
Viewfinder is a first-person puzzle game similar to like a Portal or a Superliminal or
Witness.
Yeah, Witness. That's a great example as well. And the whole idea here is that there is a lot of the first mechanic, at least, that you see is that you can find photographs in the world, and you can take those photographs and then hold them up to the world and set them into the world. And then you can step into that photograph and step into the world that photograph has, which can affect the world around you and allow you to do puzzly stuff like get past a wall. If you put a photo that has the same thing but doesn't have that wall there, now you can just walk through it. Hey, there's like the one that we did with Bobby is there is a little gap that you need to get to the top of this piece of building, and you don't have a way to jump up there. You do have a jump button, but it doesn't get you very high. So you can take this photograph, and then you realize, I can rotate the photograph, and you can rotate this photograph to the point where it can kind of make a big slope for you, and now you can walk up that slope and get to the top of that part of the building. That is the main first mechanic, at least, and then the game finds ways of building upon those mechanics and introducing new mechanics that also make you think about the world creatively.
It's a very clever game. It's not a very pompous game, where I think that we've played games like that can be very
The
very
Witness
is
the pompous version of this.
Yeah,
where you're picking up these philosophical things and you're learning about the nature of everything.
And then you look at Jonathan Blow's Twitter feed and you're like, oh, maybe this person doesn't have anything to say.
Right,
but
he doesn't have anything to say. In fact, the philosophies that he has put into that game are conflicting philosophies to the point of, what do you actually believe? Are you saying anything with this? And it's no, man. I just want you to think. I'm like, okay, you have nothing to say.
What I really appreciate about it, there's just a very avant-garde like approach to this game. Like, it feels very much like what dreams may come, and just like it feels like a very controlled fever dream. It's like lucid dreaming, quite frankly. Like, you're completely aware of what you're doing, but you have almost limitless potential to do and explore and fuck up things, or break things and explore it. I find it like, typically these games start off where it's like, I'm feeling very much like I like the concept of what you're trying to get me to do. But then when they start to get to a point where it's like Patrick's Parabox or something like Baba Is You or even The Witness, it becomes really challenging for me personally to keep up with all the juggling act, where I don't feel like I can be as creative. Like, I can brute force something if I have to in those situations, but it's pretty much like, this is a very strategic puzzle for you, where here, there, even in Portal, you have to kind of like, you and I fucked it up a few times and it worked, not the way they probably wanted it to, but we got through it. This is a game where I feel, yes, the objective is pretty much there, but there is some gray areas or outside the box.
You can finesse things a little bit more here, and I also think that, at least so far, and I'm in the third set of levels.
That's where I'm at.
Okay. I'm at the second set of levels.
Okay. And I think that it hasn't been particularly difficult, I would say. Like, I think it's more about having a cool experience.
I do too.
And there have been a number of times where, I get to a puzzle and, maybe I don't get it right away, but I go through the path that I feel like the developer had in mind of, oh, they're going to try this first. They're going to see that it doesn't work. Then they're going to see that this other thing they have to do first to get that thing to work. And so I've done that, where it's like, okay, yeah, sure, it's A to B to C. Totally get where you're going with. And there have been some other ones where it's like, oh, I already see what you're doing here, and I know how to subvert it and get this done a little bit faster. But there haven't really been any ones that I've gone to and went, man, I don't know what to do here. I haven't been stumped yet, and maybe that can come down the line. There has been one that was like the optional challenge in the second set of levels.
Oh yeah,
where
I haven't gotten there yet. But
where I just thought, man, how do I even get this one? And then figured it out within like 5 minutes. But that was the one that was the most challenging.
It hasn't felt like, it doesn't have Baba Is You energy.
Totally.
It's like, okay, if I just spend a few minutes it's mindlessly wandering through this. Yeah. Let me just look around. Oh, I see. And then I just need to position it this way, and then it'll work. And I think the most I've walked around, like you said, Chase, is like 3 to 5 minutes, trying to figure out the solution, and then it clicks. But
I think I'm happy that it is that approachable. I think that I would probably like this a lot less if it was more strict or rigid. Like, there's just something kind of a whimsical approach to it.
And it's very easy to restart the level.
Yeah.
You can rewind. So if you've only okay, I'm almost there. I just placed this one wrong. I just rewind back far enough that you've undo that. And I think think the tape effect that it shows is pretty fun.
There was something that happened that I'm sure eventually we'll get to talking about sometime this year for me, where I had been playing on my computer here, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play it on my handheld, get going with that. And somewhere like the save was there, but my progress in that level did not fully take. And I had done something when I was playing it where the game starts to show you kind of what it is, like what's going on with it. And I did not expect that at all and was very taken aback by it. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. But then I was back in that same spot, and I remembered what had caused this to happen. And as I was like, well, I saw something over in the corner of this area that I think I could probably use what I have to get to. And so I went back the other way from where the story kind of unfolded, and completely circumvented this in my playthrough, and kind of like found this pathing into something that went into something. And it was really bizarre how it all kind of played out, like on both things. But I'm having just such a, like, I remember like audibly making noise playing this by myself a few times when things happen, and just like I found myself smiling and laughing and getting pumped. Like, it was really cool.
Same here. Yeah, it is certainly, it's the game where I've the most times this year said, oh, that's really neat. Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yep.
Oh,
that was basically me the entire time I was playing.
Damn, that's cool. Yeah. It's
even
really
knowing the concept, like once they get in there and see how they I
think the voice acting is really good. The music is really good. The art style and art direction stuff is really cool. There is a moment early in the game, I guess I will spoil this part, where you find a photograph, which is what you've been doing the whole time, and then you're hearing, as you're going through, you're starting to hear more of the dialogue that's happening, and then you hear like, oh, this guy's done a drawing, and now the drawing is on the table, and so you can pick up the drawing now. And now you put the drawing up there, and the drawing just works like the photo, where now you're walking into a drawing, but it's a drawing. So it's
so cool.
It's
cool.
Pencil hash mark
the noise that happens when you jump into the Crayola one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yes, it goes into like, here is a drawing, here is a impressionist looking painting, here is a basically what looks like a cartoony postcard from like a Roadrunner cartoon, and then the one Bobby mentioned, which is just like a child's drawing of a house. And each one of them has different music and different sound effects and a different art style, obviously. And it is just a wow moment of, that's so cool. It's so cool that you did this and were able to pull it off. All that stuff is great. I think the actual programming in the game is also incredible. Just the way that you can take these photos and you could completely fuck up the world. Pretty easy, which is why you need that way to reverse time and reverse to the other things. I think even the reverse is super smart, where you can double tap. On PlayStation, it's double tap circle, but you can double tap circle to go back to the last thing you did, which is either picking up a photograph or placing a photograph or like using one of the interactables in the world. Those count. Like, the game is able to track you did a thing rather than just I walked around and thought about something for a while. So that is really cool in that sense. But more importantly to me is just the amount of breakage you can do for the world, where you can put up a photograph. It's another really early puzzle that I'll kind of give a little spoiler to. You're looking for these two batteries, and I found one easy enough. Okay, I see how you get through that. You just kind of put the thing up so the fence is no longer there, and you can go grab the thing. And then the other one, it's not immediately apparent where this other battery is in the level.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But there is this just big four-walled space in the middle. It's kind of like this big pillar, and the actual solution to the puzzle is to put a photo up there to break out some of the wall, and then you see that there's actually a room inside that pillar You can go grab the second battery. But the first time, I wasn't even thinking that might be there, and I was just experimenting and having a good time. And I took like this big sunset photo that you find, and it's like one of these big sky photos that you're supposed to just be able to delete anything. And I basically deleted that entire, not just the wall for that room,
not
but
just
the
the
room
women,
itself,
but the children too. I slaughtered them.
So it's just all gone, and it just completely cratered the level. And the game just lets you do that. It has no problem just going, oh yeah, that geometry is just no longer there anymore. And then the next thing I did was, well, what happens if I put it on the ground under my feet? And you just fall infinitely, and the game says, you hit the circle.
Yeah,
go
you
back
fucked
to where
up.
You were before. And it's like, wow, you can do so many things here. The one thing that it didn't do that I was a little disappointed. It's not a big deal. I had this big sunset photo, and I thought, if I replace the sun in the sky with the sun from the sunset photo, is it going to make everything sunset? And no, it didn't. It didn't.
That's
I thought that was going to work, and I thought that would have been really cool. But basically everything else I've done has had a really neat interaction with something, and it's just fascinating to look at and play and think about.
I love that. I love that you're having such a good time with it. The highest form of flattery and praise we give in the Peace household for video games is when I actually bother my wife to look at something, because she appreciates me playing games. She supports me playing games. She'll play a few.
She plays her own games, but she's got like a very specific kind of interest.
She's a cozy gamer girl. And the whole thing about it is, if I see something that I'm like, I need to show this to Sarah, and she comes in, when I show her what's going on and she's like, oh, wow, this is like insanely cool, then I know you've made it, game. You have passed the test, the ultimate test. So Viewfinder has passed the Sarah test. The one thing we did not call out, this is made by Sad Owl Studios, and it is published by Thunderful. They've been putting some bangers out. I got to tell you, Thunderful's doing some cool shit. It'll set you back $25. It's on PC, and it is on the PlayStation 5. I think that this was shown off at one of the State of Plays, so there's probably an exclusivity deal with Sony on that. But no Switch at this time, no Xbox, but you can get it on Steam and you can get it on PlayStation. And I've been playing it with a controller on PC, and it's just fine. It's great.
Yeah, I turned down the sensitivity one click because it was a little wild for me. But other than that, it's been a pretty solid dream to play. There's a cat that you can pet who's like kind of only half there.
I like the cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been petting the cat all the time, even though you only get the achievement or trophy one time. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna pet this cat every time. And it has like a satisfying rumble for the PS5 controller, the DualSense, every time you do it, and it's just very good. There's so many smart things in the game.
Makes a hell of a debut.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've already written down a moment or two that I think are going to be part of best moment.
Yeah.
And also, this game is really short. I checked how long to beat, and it's sitting at 3.5 hours for the story.
Damn.
So
I like that, but I want more of it.
Yeah, but I mean that makes me really excited though to know that I could finish this in a day if I wanted to.
Sure.
I'm probably going to take a few days to do it and tease it out a little bit because I am really liking this experience. But I'm having a fantastic time. This is such a good game.
Base
really,
likes video games again. Yay!
He likes games again.
I like this video game, that's for sure. I mean, I also played some Super Robot Wars over the weekend, but
he was doing so good.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I am on the mission now. Or the next mission I do is the mission where it says, do you want to go to the normal ending or do you want to go to the true ending? And I already have everything to do the true ending, which means it's going to put me on the path to finishing this game. That doesn't mean I'm at the end, but it is at least like the point of no return. The game is going to end in the next handful of levels. So, progress has been made.
I had a really great segue to say like, oh, and let's just keep the fun going on games we're all playing. But
what do you mean? You guys are also playing Super Bowl.
Fuck right? No, never. Jesus fucking Christ. I'd rather be cauterized. I will. That can be right. Yes. Exoprimal. Let's just chat about that really quick.
Speaking of being cauterized.
We all played Exoprimal over Casual Fridays last week, and this is the newest Capcom game. It is on Game Pass. I think it's on PlayStation and no Switch. But this is
Chase hates it.
it's fine. It's nothing like it did not. I think in the long streak for Capcom of winning, this certainly feels a bit far from grace compared to some of their other titles.
It is a low mark.
But I do think it is a completely cromulent. Bobby and Johnny don't have anything better to do on a Friday night. Let's shoot some dinosaurs for an hour and a half on a stream. There's other stuff we would like. I would take Deep Rock Galactic any day of the week over this for a Johnny.
It's got some cool ideas, though.
Yeah,
it does, but it's also executed in a way that leaves much to be desired.
It just feels like they took a neat idea, boring as possible, which is really disappointing. So the game here, it's kind of a hero shooter in a way. It's a little bit of an Overwatch.
It's very much a hero shooter.
Yeah, I mean there are specific roles, and all the heroes go into those different roles: tank and support and aggro and that kind of shit. And the game does have these like, unlike an Overwatch, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Does Overwatch have this or not? Do they go through different objectives during one game, or is
you
it
have checkpoints that you hit?
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what this game does. It's hey, you have like, now we need you to go kill the dinosaurs.
Yeah, go stand here and shoot the dinosaurs. Now go over here and shoot the dinosaurs.
Now move the payload while also shooting dinosaurs. And also, now, hey, you can fight the opponent, like the opposing team.
And by the way, they send a dinosaur over to you. It's gonna make you fall even further behind.
Yeah, that part I do like, though. Like, that is like they're
cool.
Going for like a Destiny style Gambit thing, except when you're the invader, you're not invading as yourself. You're invading as a big fucking dinosaur that just absolutely can wreck shop.
You know what? Mario Odyssey did that like 6 years ago.
I don't know if this game has the staying power to like be propped up by the success of other things that Capcom has from like a funding standpoint, but this already just feels like we're going to see a tweet from Wario in the next 12 months saying, hey, Exoprimal is not going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah, servers are going down. But, I mean, it is. I like the design on all the Exoprimal, like the actual mech suit stuff that you're in. I think those are cool. The dinosaurs look cool. The story stuff in there is stupid, but stupid in a way that is kind of silly and fun and campy.
But also, it repeats itself every time.
It really does,
with the same dialogue, and it really lets you know, hey, you're losing. You're still losing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
and it's a game it's a game that has all the free to play trappings you could ever want or not want.
But 60 bones.
But it's also a game that costs money. And it's just in this really weird place where
it feels like it should be free. Like,
yeah. And I think that could happen. I think that could happen.
Capture and maintain an audience where there's so many other games that fall into this niche, whatever you want to call it, that I would much rather play. Like Bobby said, I'd much rather play Deep Rock.
Like, from a moment-to-moment standpoint, the shooting is fun. The abilities that your different suits can get are pretty cool. There's some halfway decent customization in terms of like decals you can put on your guy and little trinkets that you can hang off the suits and weapon skins and character skins and that kind of shit. And I think the core gameplay is fun of going around and shooting dinosaurs and racing another team in this kind of PvPvE thing. But it just kind of wears out its welcome a little bit. It's a little too thin, a little too repetitive, and
I uninstalled it after the stream.
I uninstalled it in the middle, like while we were wrapping up that night.
So yeah, that's Exoprimal. It's fine. Like I think that if you have Game Pass, check it out. If you have any other consoles, don't buy it. That's my thing. But a game you should buy is one that, Chase, I did not realize it at the time of purchasing it, but you and I definitely checked this out on stream. This is Trepang Squared, I believe is how you pronounce this. It is made by Trepping Studios and put out by Team 17. It is currently, I think, Steam only. Has a demo you can play, but it's also $30 to buy right now. This is a really good shooter, and I think mechanically,
Oh, I remember this one now. Yeah.
this is one where we got into that end. The only reason I remembered it is like the end of the first level. There's like the 6 elevators, and the waves of the dudes keep coming out. And I was
This is
trying.
the one where you're like sliding around a lot, right?
You can. This is one where you can slow down time and go invisible as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
So we checked out this demo, and I forgot that we did. But then this game has been just getting all kinds of buzz on Steam, and people who are familiar with early 2000s shooter Fear have drawn a lot of comparisons to Fear. I've even seen some people kind of talk about it's not super hot to me, but I can understand where they would be like, oh, this is a very like
It's like super hot.
It's like super hot in the sense that you're going to be
Super
coming
hot like.
kind of a little bit. The shooting feels very good. The one thing that like we didn't really get to do in the demo was the elements that make it compared to Fear. And that really happens in the second part, where you stop fighting actual people and you start to fight creatures, and it's a very different dynamic in it. But it is a very straightforward game. You've got an aggressive slide that Chase called out earlier. You have a cooldown that recharges on its own for you to go invisible. And then you have the ability to slow down time, and that gauge is refilled by you killing people. So if you do it right and you kind of chain it up, you can stay in a really slow-mo state, which is just so fucking fun. It feels so good when you pull it off. The weapons, you can have 2 weapons equipped at a time, and they both feel really good. I've had 4 guns now. I've had maybe more than that, but mostly I've been using a shotgun, and you're getting equipment to upgrade. So like my pistol now has a laser sight and a silencer on it, so I can go invisible and do some real fucking cool shit with that. I really like this one. I think the shooting, like, it reminds me of how I felt playing Doom 2016 with like, wow, this thing just feels really good to play. I might not love what I'm doing in it, but I love the action of playing it. Like, I don't care about like the Doom story or all that shit. Like, and this one's fine. But I think if you are into Doom or Fear or any of those, like, this is a game that you should absolutely fire up and check out the shooting in, because the shooting feels fantastic, and the abilities combined with the shooting are simple. It's invisible or slow, and it just makes for a really fun time, like cutting through things. And it's gory as hell. Holy shit. If you beat the game on ultra hard, it gets like an extreme gore version, which I don't even fucking want to know what that is.
It reminds me a little bit of Bulletstorm. Do you remember Bulletstorm?
Yeah.
Yes.
I could see that for sure.
You know, there's certainly a little bit more about stylish execution than Bulletstorm was. That was more frat bro. What if I kicked a bunch of dudes in the balls and then exploded them with shotguns? But there is
Sounds pretty cool.
There is that. Hey, there's more to this than just shoot. I mean, there's more to this shooter than just shooting a guy. It's shooting them in a very fancy. Not elegant exactly, but a heightened way where you are not just, it's not about killing, it's about killing with style.
I fought the Mothman. That was wild.
Oh,
that was wild. Yeah. Johnny, I think that this is a game that you will actually like quite a bit. Chase, I think you
am installing it now.
I think that you would appreciate the mechanics of it, but probably not care too much about what you're doing in it. But I think a game that you both, I know one of you likes, and I think the other one would like quite a bit. I can't believe we're talking about it in the Lord of our Savior 2023, Ridiculous Fishing EX. We have a quick look going up. If you're listening to this audio only, it's up. Go to our YouTube page. But if you're watching this with us tomorrow, July 20th, we will have a quick look of Vlambeer's Apple Arcade Resurrected Ridiculous Fishing EX. This game, according to Rami, has been rebuilt from the ground up. Every element's been tweaked, and even some things expanded upon. If you're not familiar with what this is, back in 2013, when the App Store was far more innocent than it is today, a little game came
Well-
out called Ridiculous Fishing. You know, back when people were using their phones to drink beer, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
That was like 2009, my friend.
They were still doing it in 2013, Johnny.
Downloading apps that can be flashlights. Where now you
Yes,
just have
lighters.
The flashlights in the phone. Don't worry.
Ridiculous Fishing came out with a loop of you're going to upgrade your gear by catching fish. You're fishing and then you're shooting and then you're upgrading, and that's really the loop here. And when I say shooting, you're shooting a bunch of fucking fish that are blasted up into the air. I'm more impressed, I think, that this even happened given the closure of Lambier back in 2020, and knowing that there's such a level of care and detail that went into this. It's really, really cool to be back to it. We talk a lot about it in the quick look, so I'm going to save some of my thoughts for viewers to go and watch that. But Chase, you called out in the quick look. This is a one-off. Don't get too excited. And if you're not on the Apple Arcade ecosystem, and if you're unaware of what that is, it's a $5 a month subscription that allows you to play games with cloud saves across phones, iPads, Macs, Apple TVs. There's some cool shit on there, but it's been pretty boring for the most part. And this is the game that's really gotten me kind of interested in that service again, because I loved it when it was first out, and I love it even more now.
Yeah, if you're a person who hasn't already burned their free trial of Apple Arcade, I'd say this is a perfect time to jump in and play this for a month and beat it and have a great time, because it's Ridiculous Fishing, but more, but extra, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's great. What more could you ask for? But if you're like me and Johnny and you already have burned that $5 a month or burned that free trial and now have to pay the $5 a month, I don't know. Would I pay $5 to play Ridiculous Fishing for a month? Probably.
Well, they also put out beside it, not that you need to do both of these, but Stardew Valley is now on Apple Arcade. Mm-hmm. And I think if you've never played that, that's great on the phone. There's two good reasons. $5 gets you two really good games.
And there are also there are plenty of really good Apple Arcade games that you can still go and play. Mini Motorways is still on there.
Alto's on there now, and Monument Valley.
They made a lot of developers have made like specific Apple Arcade versions that take out monetization stuff that they had in there and just put all that stuff in the game proper, because Apple Arcade doesn't allow that stuff. There are good things available to you if you haven't tried Apple Arcade before. But if you have played some of those things, it's a bit of a harder sell for me to come back into that ecosystem and know that I'm giving Apple another $5 a month when I really just want to pay. Can I just give Lambier $5, hell $10, and just say this is my game forever? And that's not a choice that you can make right now. But I am really excited that this game is back in a new form. I am a little disappointed that this is just a one-off and that we're not going to get a Loop Browsers EX or a Super Crate Box EX or something like that, because I think Lambier made some really incredible games that I would like to see revived in some form or fashion. But still, this is super cool, and this is one of those early games that got cloned a lot on iOS and the App Store, and it's kind of a fun relic of history that it's back.
It's weird to have nostalgia for an iPhone app.
Yeah,
it's very strange to have that. And
bring back
like
Topple.
This and Rolando for me. Anyone remember playing Rolando?
Oh yeah, man.
What about Topple?
I played a lot of Topple. I played some Topple 2.
Hell yeah.
I love Doodle Jump, man. I love Doodle Jump.
You can still play Doodle Jump.
I know, it's just not the same. You know, I don't have him. I can't put a screenshot of Doodle Jump into Hipstamatic and feel really good about my Instagram page. So
should we do a quick look back on Doodle Jump?
Yeah, man. I know. I was just thinking whenever we were talking about this a minute ago, we'd not done anything with these, but last year or 2 years ago, they brought to Steam Monument Valley 1 and 2. I picked them up. We should absolutely dust one of those off on a Monday night. That game fucking rules, man. That game's so good.
Looking games. Yep.
And it comes with a bunch of wallpapers too. Awesome.
Nice.
Johnny,
Yeah.
I know that we have talked about a few things that you have on the list here, but did you have a chance to share your thoughts completely?
What's the hour count, Johnny?
I know what it is because I've been keeping an eye on it.
It's it's reasonable.
Really?
A modest 124.
God damn it. All right, sounds good. Do you have another new main at this point?
No,
have you
I'm
switched?
Still sticking with Luke.
Still sticking
since last week.
Yeah, a whole 7 days.
There
here's the problem.
There's a new character next week, right?
Rashid, it comes out.
Yeah, get ready for a new main.
But when so many of the characters are so fun to play, it's hard to pick.
You just think they're neat. I know.
I do. Anyway, I said my piece on Exoprimal and Viewfinder. I'm also trying to wrap up at least the main story of Tears of the Kingdom. I just cleared the water temple after work today.
I hear there's some food on the line for this.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be feasting.
Bullshit, Walter. The wager is if I haven't hit credits on Tears of the Kingdom by August 3rd.
By August 3rd, because you want to play Baldur's Gate 3 and I want to eat catfish.
Well, Baldur's Gate 3 for early access owners like myself comes out on August 1st. The official release date is August 3rd.
So are you giving yourself two bonus days there, like a little breathing room?
Anyway, the wager is if I don't beat it by then I have to buy Bobby lunch, and I assume if I beat it, then he's gonna buy me lunch.
No, if you beat it, I already told you what I would do.
What?
I said the wager was if you do not beat the game, you buy me lunch. If you beat the game before we talk about, I will do an NPC romantic, or the new fucking NPC stream.
No. Oh no!
That was the wager.
So we all lose. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't like this at all.
Well,
that's all right. Well, it's never gonna happen.
Just so I'm clear, you're gonna hit credits, but that includes you're getting the temples and you're gonna do the tiers, right? For your sake, I want you to do the tiers. Do not skip the tiers.
Oh, the dragon. Yeah. Yep.
Like that is a very critical part of that game. Like going into that.
I understand.
I mean, they put it in the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not called the Temples of the Kingdom. It's called Tears of the Kingdom.
There's going to be tears in that kingdom when I'm eating all those fucking chicken and fish. You'll be crying.
The only tears are going to be Johnny crying from having lost the bet.
Look, no, Johnny, for the sake of everybody else, you want to hear fire, gang, fire, gang.
Please stop.
Ice cream, so good.
Love a guy.
I missed out on my calling, man.
You could be walking around in ground beef doing that on OnlyFans, just making buckets of money.
All right, let's talk about this magazine.
What magazine?
Guys, we're talking about the what month was it? The November 2000 copy of Electronic Gaming Monthly.
What made you pick this one?
This is the very first copy of EGM I ever owned. And I saw it at the grocery store.
What it was.
And the cover, the hype for the PS2 being around the corner, the GameCube, all that stuff is palpable. I remember one of my friends at school talking about, it's going to be able to render every blade of grass whenever you're playing a game. And I was like, whoa, it's going to have so much.
He knew that you loved grass at such a young age.
It's true.
This tracks because I would say this is maybe about a year, 6 months probably before I started reading gaming magazines pretty regularly.
I was 12. So
you're a little bit older than me, so that tracks. Like the first one I remember was a Game Informer cover that had Super Smash Brothers on it. Super Smash Brothers Melee specifically because it was all about GameCube stuff. We'll probably dig up that one someday for one of these.
Probably.
But for your deep dive, you chose this magazine for us all to look back through. And,
it has, I think it has a little something for all of us here.
It has a lot of something for everybody. It's 298 pages.
It was like a special edition.
Magazines used to be so big,
but also
this was
That's
like
a lot of ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
a
like,
lot of ads.
it was a healthy industry. Like they can actually sell advertisements. That's crazy.
No, Chase. They're selling
So many
radvertisements in this one.
Well, yes, there are a couple of
We'll
advertisements
get to that.
that we will definitely
get to
discuss.
that. So I thought what we could do, I asked each of you to pick out a handful of things that stuck out to you, that you wanted to speak to. The PS2 is the cover story, right? It also has the Game Boy Advance, the GameCube.
Yeah.
The ill-fated Dreamcast is mentioned here.
Nintendo Space World 2000 specifically.
Yes.
Like all the stuff they showed off at that Space World.
Yeah.
Yes. And the cover story here, I just want to read this quote, because I saw it earlier, and it's spread out over 3 pages. Because I read like half of it, and I was like, wait, what is he saying? And I scrolled back up.
Oh, is this the fold out?
Maybe.
Like, was this well, it's hard to tell in this PDF, but I think this was a fold out.
I think it did pull
goes
out
across a bunch of pages.
It says it's historic, a mass market appliance that fundamentally changes society in the same way the printing press did. And that is Trip Hawkins, CEO of 3DO.
Gutenberg is certainly playing with the DualShock and just being.
I think that maybe he was being a tad hyperbolic there, but
I mean, this is one of the highest selling consoles.
Chase, if you let me finish my point, I was getting to that.
All right.
Yes, PS2 I think is still the greatest selling console of all time. And they were shipping PS2 games well into the PS3 life cycle. Persona 4 comes to mind. That came out in 2008. The PS3 had been around for 2 years at that point. And this was a big deal.
It was four consoles in this one. You had GameCube, PS2, Game Boy Advance, and Xbox. It was massive.
We were still learning about Xbox. Yeah, it was such
this was the most tangible view into the future that
Xbox
we were able to get.
Like, we knew Microsoft was getting into the gaming.
Yeah, this was like
it was the Xbox yet, right?
Kind of inside baseball.
Yeah, they talk about Xbox stuff here.
Did they talk about Xbox? I know they talked about Microsoft her developing for it. I don't remember Xbox. Maybe they did.
Johnny, if you're okay with it, because I have the page pulled up here. It's early in. There's something on here that I really wanted to highlight that I just find, like, looking back on this relic where we're at today. Nintendo made double-barreled news of its own in late August at Space World Expo in Tokyo by finally unveiling the GameCube, still sounds weird to me, and Game Boy Advance. If they thought the GameCube would sound weird, where to get a load of my Wii? Then the simultaneous announcements are not a coincidence, as Nintendo clearly plans to expand and explore the immense possibilities of linking standalone handheld and console systems together.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
They what you think? Who would have thought the Wii would have been such a hit for them at that point in time, thinking about their
There's
blended
always a lighthouse.
Yeah.
But if the more you look back on it, I think through that filter, and Chase was like directly in the nose with it, they've been working towards the Switch for a very long time. And that's why I feel confident to say that I think the form factor and the concept of the Switch is probably going to be Nintendo for a very long time. Like, they've been working their ass off to get to that point over the years, and they did it really well.
They finally did it.
But
yeah, I mean, they perfected. I mean, certainly they haven't perfected the tech specs, but I think they've perfected the idea.
Yeah,
that
totally.
This is finally like the thing, and now we just need to make it more powerful and figure out all the guts that go into it. But we know what it's supposed to be now.
Totally. So it's just fun to look back at this from 23 years ago and the age of the Switch and be like, those motherfuckers did it. They finally did it.
Yeah.
And I really liked just having today's knowledge reading that.
I would also like you to go,
right?
Bobby, can you go back to the cover for me? Because there's a quote on the cover that I saw as well, and maybe our faces are going to obscure it a little bit, but I think it's a little further. It says the ultimate guide to the launch games, DVDs, and everything PlayStation 2.
That was a big deal.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And now it's the dumbest. It's so unimportant to the point of like nobody cares. Nobody
I
cares.
don't even have a disk drive on my PlayStation.
Exactly.
Same.
I do on mine.
But also, like, that was the least expensive DVD player you could buy at the time.
It was.
Yeah,
and
huge.
same for the PS3 being Blu-ray, cheapest one you can get there.
And
Xbox,
it could just play
HD
DVDs
DVD.
out of the box. The Japanese PlayStation 2 could not. You had to like get a software update or something, buy something to get that. But out of the box, your US PlayStation 2 could play DVDs. I remember having the original Xbox and purchasing the separate remote control and little dongle that goes into your Xbox to work the remote control, and that's the only way you could play DVDs on your Xbox is if you had the little add-on thing. So it certainly was a huge deal that the PS2 you could just play DVDs out of the box, and that was a big deal at the time because that format was becoming big, and like that was the clear winner of that format war. And the way they talk about DVDs in this magazine, in fact, they even say like, hey, we got a movie guy for this issue to tell you about all the movies you need to see on DVD. And I don't think I have this page listed down, but like the page where the guy talks about the movies, it's, hey guys, have you seen The Matrix? And like, yeah, motherfucker, Matrix. Like he goes down the most basic bitch ass list of, yes, obviously all of these DVDs would be in your collection.
The Matrix was like the first DVD, I think. Johnny, just for the sake of my knowledge here, did you, out of the 4 consoles we're talking about in this magazine, did you have any of them at launch?
No.
I
would get a PS2. I got a PS1.
They were only
the PS2 came out.
They were only $99 at the time, man. It's a hell of a deal.
I know. Well, it was a used one too.
Yeah.
From my local EB Games, and I would eventually get a PS2, and then I traded that in to get a GameCube so I could get Smash Brothers and RE4. But yeah, I don't think I owned a console at launch until the Wii.
Chase, what about you? Did you have any of these at launch?
Handhelds, sure. I certainly would have gotten a GBA right at launch. I didn't get a GameCube until Smash Brothers came out, so that wouldn't have been launch. I didn't have a PS2 until I was well into college, where I bought a used one. So that's that. I was not a PS2 guy. I played PS2 games at my cousin's place. That's where I learned what Dynasty Warriors was and changed my whole life.
Oh man!
And also learned what Gran Turismo was, and that did not change my life for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I just remember my cousin going like, you know, if this was real life, like the trim stuff that I've done to this car, this thing would fly, like the physics. And me going, wow, that's cool, but it wouldn't fly in the game because obviously cars aren't going to fly. I don't know. He was also probably just bullshitting, but it's fine.
So the only reason I bring it up is I remember distinctly at the time when this was coming out, like I was in 8th grade. And I remember talking with my friends, and there was like a distinct split on what they would be getting. And I thought that I had to get Nintendo because I had Nintendo. So I'm like, well, I got to get a GameCube. They're like, why? I'm like, well, I have a 64. So like I should get a GameCube. And I remember this was where I started to really realize like, oh wow, there's more options now. Like it's just not Nintendo. I can start to look at these things. So I would end up getting a PlayStation 2 later on, but I had a GameCube at launch, and I remember that was something that like got made fun of by a lot of people because it had the small disc and the shape and the name. Like there was
you got the lunchbox,
yeah, like there was definitely like people. Oh, PlayStation 2's where it's at. And then I remember Xbox.
Dreamcast people are just really sad.
Well, I had a Dreamcast. So I shouldn't say that only replaced my 64. I had a Dreamcast, and I did get the GameCube for holiday. I got it for Christmas that year, and that was what I had out of these. But it was really, I got an Xbox later and a PlayStation 2 later on, but it came through really weird like trades of like other shit I had and stuff with my friends. So anyway, I was just curious, Johnny, if that's kind of like what turned your eye to it because you had a fondness of a launch with this.
I was just obsessed with video games. My parents were really like it. It took a lot to get them to. They were one of the ones like, well, we just bought you this one 2 years ago, and now you're saying
McDonald's
you need another
at home.
Yeah. So yeah, the N64 was the only like brand new system that my parents ever bought for me. I paid for my Game Boy with my first communion money.
Nice.
And yeah, so I thought, did you guys see the like there's a whole section here about like breaking into the biz.
Yeah, that's really far into the magazine, but yeah, that is
there are some cameos from some faces that are still familiar to this day.
Do you remember? Do you think it was around like page 100? You're saying?
I can tell you exactly where it is.
Page 232.
Yes, that's the page. That's the one.
You'll see. You'll see.
I know exactly for 232.
You'll see one Tommy Tallarico there.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my god.
CEO of Intellivision, Amico, which is absolutely
maker of Video Games Live, a thing I've gone to once. I shook Tommy Tallarico's hand.
Nice.
And it was just wild. Like oh my god, that guy is kind of a grifter now.
Yeah,
how about that?
It is so fun. I don't think anything he's saying here is a lie, but so much stuff has been exposed of all the things he's lied about and taken credit for. I think it's extremely hilarious.
How Billy Mitchell of him.
It's quite good. It's quite good. Bobby, I would ask, could you actually go back to page 8 and 9? It's a 2-page spread. It's an advertisement.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, at the time, I didn't give a fuck about any shit because I was probably just playing Pokemon. Pokemon Gold and Silver had come out the month before, so I'm sure I was playing that, maybe on a GBA, but I was certainly just neck deep into Pokemon. This 2-page spread I don't remember ever seeing before. But this is from Majora's Mask, and I mean, you can read it here, but it's saying the only thing worse than the weight of the world on your shoulders is the weight of the moon. 72 hours, 24 masks, 1 moon. The world is waiting on you. This is such a fucking cool ad for Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I can think of something that was heavier on the world trade than the moon.
Oh no!
No.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's exactly what I thought of when I saw this.
It is going to be harder to see because we have all of our faces on the left side. But can you go to the page before? That page. So on the left side has some screenshots from the game, and one of those screenshots I do remember seeing, and it's Link putting on the Zora mask for the first time, and doing that scream with the Zora. Oh, there it is. I remember seeing that image and it haunting me. To the point, like, I didn't want to play Majora's Mask at all. Not only because I hadn't played Ocarina of Time, or had only played Ocarina of Time over to a friend's house a handful of times, but just seeing that image, like, that's probably too scary for me. Because again, I'm 11 at the time. That's not like I got a lot I can say there.
I got a page to go to that I'm not proud of.
Okay.
Lay it on us.
So there's.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh.
There's an advertisement.
Are you down with the clown?
I was unfortunately very down with the clown. Whoop whoop is right, chat. I
believe this. That's a thing I can believe about Bobby Pease.
And this was a double disc that was coming out, and I was so fucking excited to get this. And I had gotten into them in 7th grade, and like the Great Malenko and all that stuff. And I remember they had just blown up. This album came out like at 20 on the Billboard charts. Like Insane Clown Posse sold shit, like especially 20.
Quite popular.
Yeah, I mean, they still are to the same people they were 23 years ago. But I got to tell you, this advertisement, like, I was not prepared to come across this and reading the magazine, and immediately, like, have my fucking world rocked of like, oh no, you were so into this. Like,
it's out on Halloween too.
Yes, it did.
Incredible.
2 new CDs in stores Halloween. So anyway, that when we talked about advertisements earlier, this is the one. This is the one that got me.
Speaking of advertisements, let's get these knocked out of the way, and then I think we can talk about more substantive things here. But Bobby, first I would like you to go to page 97.
Okay.
This is an ad for the Sydney 2000 Olympics game video
I
game.
hate this. I hate this.
I know.
I remember seeing this ad all the time.
Uh-huh.
It's one that brought back some memories here. I certainly did not play this video game. The Olympics games are almost all completely terrible. But this one, seeing Michael Johnson and just having his top half be his body, but having his legs be cut off and be fingers instead. I think it's great. I like this line of like how fast he is. What is it? It's
how fast are your fingers?
His legs take him 200 meters in 19.32 seconds. How fast are your fingers? That's so good. It is haunting. It is terrible, but I also love this ad.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
Let the games begin, mate.
Yeah,
because they're in Sydney.
And then Bobby, you have to go up a few pages and go to page 93, where Johnny and I are going to take you on a bit of a journey.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This might be the most fucked thing in this whole magazine.
Oh no.
So this ad here is for the Cybeco. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
This is a Russian-made handheld computer that I believe was only sold in the U.S.
Oh, this is the ROG Ally. Go on.
Sure.
Oh, hang on. I got to move the screen over really quick for one thing.
Yep, you do. Yes, you do. There you go. Make number one sexy chat. This is the most racist fucking print ad I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, big time.
Like, scroll up a little bit. Look at how they've written wireless in that fake ass Asian font bullshit. It's awful. This
hang on. I got to move that over again.
This had to go through multiple rounds of reviews and copy and probably edits to that copy. It doesn't sound broken English enough.
It's so gross that I guess I'm sure they had to get some kind of market research that said, wow, it seems like Asian teenagers specifically, are using this device more than other people. We should target this more at Asian.
I mean, even this, markets. Like, you can tell that they're going for, like, it's just awful the way it's written.
It's gross. It's so gross. So let me tell you a little bit more about this system, because I had never heard of it before. Fascinating. The racism aside, I think the system is actually fascinating. So the Cybeco is this handheld computer that communicates with other Cybecos through two-way radio messages at a maximum range of 330 feet away. It also had an MP3 player add-on that you could buy, and then you could also download games from a specific website, and it had like 1,200 games or something for it. Apparently, they sold about 500,000 of these things in the year 2000, and then it just kind of went away. They did make a second one that is even more of an atrocious-looking, ugly calculator. But the idea that this thing could like check emails and send like short range messages, like, this seems like if everybody at your school had one of these, it would have been the coolest fucking thing.
It's like a Dick Tracy watch.
Yeah, the problem is, like, only maybe one person at your school would have this, and then it's useless, because unless you have somebody 330 feet away from you, you're not going to be getting to send cool messages.
Oh my god!
It's not like the DS with like the little notepad chat that you could have there. PictoChat was that, or was that just the 3DS one? I can't remember. There was a chat function in the DS that was like a local wireless communication, and I remember using that in class a little bit.
Pictures of penises.
Yeah, sure.
Hot.
There you go. But yeah, this Cybeco thing seems like a fucking crazy thing.
This Cybeco Extreme is
Johnny, what do you want to see?
It's even grosser.
You got a page or anything you want me to pull up, Johnny?
Yeah. One sec. So I saw this, right, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And so I start Googling it, and of course there's an XKCD comic that talks about it.
About the Cybeco?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a relatively recent one too, right? Because it's talking. It's Johnny sent it to me earlier, but it's like comparing. It's a big table that compares all the features of these different social media things, Discord and Twitter and Slack and all
the
stuff.
things it can do. And then at the very end,
Cyberco, weirdly enough, is able to technically do all of these things. It's very funny.
Yeah, Bobby,
Jiggy says to pull up Game of the Month.
That might be on page 56, which has the best sellers. I wanted to take a look there.
Okay.
To see what was hot in the year 2000 in November.
By the way, I'm gonna put the link to that XKCD in the chat just so.
Okay.
Just so.
And Chase, if you want a link to the magazine in chat too, that's fine. I mean, we'll have that there.
I only have I only download the PDF. I don't have the actual link.
I got it.
It's on our Notion. Johnny's gonna put it in there.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah. So
let me
Kirby
move this
64
over. Yeah, I'll move that over so we can see it. There we go.
Was the number
Kirby
one
64,
game?
Crystal Shards.
I don't think I ever played that game.
I don't think I did either.
It's not a good game, but I love that game. I think it's really cool. This is the first game that it might be the only game now that I think about it that has Kirby combining the powers. So I think it had 8 powers in it, and you could combine 2 of them together. So if you combined if you took the electricity and then you took the frost, Kirby would turn into a refrigerator and then he could shoot out food that then he could then eat and gain health back. I remember really liking Rock and Fire because that would turn Kirby into a volcano.
Fire!
Molten rocks at people. The other classic one was Electric and Cutter because this was the year 2000, so Kirby got a double-bladed fucking lightsaber, and it was the coolest shit in the world.
Okay, all right. I'd like to point out that Pokemon has 3 spots in the top 20, spot 2, spot 10, and spot 11.
And also, that's from July. From July 2000.
Yeah.
So that is
Pokemon Stadium is in there as well.
Sure. Yeah. That's from July 2000 though. So this is months away from Gold and Silver, and yet Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Red and Blue are still dominating the charts. At this point.
Yellow,
it's
Red.
How much Pokemon was
I think Blue was down here, right? Yeah, here we go. I'll move this back over because we're cutting out some other stuff.
One of my favorite games from that era, Legend of Dragoon, in that number 6 spot.
I hear a lot of people talk about the game. That's why I haven't played.
Pantsu Dragoon.
I own it on the PS5.
That's a different Dragoon.
No.
It's a different reference. I appreciate it, but that's a different reference.
Chase, there was if you go to page 50.
All right, give me 1 second.
I saw this and I thought of you.
Page 50, coming right up.
That is the Wonder Swan. And
God, look at this fucking relic. November of 2000. What a time.
Didn't you buy a Wonder Swan, Chase?
I have a Wonder Swan color now. I picked it up like twice. And I don't have any Wonder Swan games for it.
Yeah, okay.
Damn.
And it never came to the States, right?
Right. This system was not a US thing.
Hey, this wasn't the only company showing off a new handheld in Japan this month. That thing went toe to toe with the Game Boy Advance, baby.
Yeah,
damn right.
Here's some other games that it looks like are coming out around the time of this magazine. What do we got here? Anything? Oh, Sin and Punishment. Welcome to the Casual Hour.
Yeah,
you've made it. Game Boy.
Who's
Mario
Sin?
Tennis.
Punishment. Johnny's obviously Punishment. I guess I'm probably Sin.
No. We're all sinners. Johnny's just he's our punishment.
That's fair enough.
Mario Tennis. That's cool. What other page you want to see?
Mario Tennis, really good game. Both of them, the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy Color.
Go to page 158.
Okay. Remind me to come back to page 58 when we get done here. You said one. What did you say, Johnny? 158.
158. Yep.
Okay.
Page 158 shows you.
God damn.
1-900 preview.
Hell yeah.
That fucking Boomerang 64 looks like the PS3 prototype controller that was going around for everywhere.
No, that's an N64 controller.
I know. I'm just saying.
But they should have put that PS3 controller out.
Holy shit.
Cowards.
Look at that thing.
only $1.49 a
There's
minute.
no way in hell I wouldn't have just chucked that at my younger brother. I just would have pelted his ass with that thing. Just
It's
fucking just hit him.
They also show off the GameCube controller for the first time in this magazine.
Yeah, it's
And
up on.
the design is a little bit different from how it
I'll
turned
go up to
out.
that really quick. Hang on.
Yeah, like the B
That
button
was
looks
page
more like the
38.
X and Y
Is GameCube.
chiclets, but
Here we go. Yeah, man, this is the big thing.
I also didn't realize that they announced the Wavebird. Yeah, like right there at the top of the page. They announced the
I didn't either.
Wavebird
I thought that came much
on
later.
that. Yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, like go up just a little. There you go. Like that B button is one of those little chiclets like the X and Y, and that is came out as a little circle. Also, it never came out in this gray, to my knowledge. That was
No,
always
this
just
is
the
like
Wavebird
very
controller.
It's like a prototype version. Yeah.
It looks a little bit like chunkier too.
Yeah, I think the handles come down a little further on the final product, and it's not spice orange, so who cares, right?
Man, I was really there's a company that's making a really kick-ass. It's like a portable dock almost. Like you slide the core Nintendo Switch into it, and they've got 3. Well, they actually got with limited runs. They got 4 prototype like big deals that they're going to do like limited runs of. One of which they did a Super Nintendo coloration, but I got the one that I ordered is the purple GameCube. I really was hoping they would do spice orange, but I'll slide it into it. And the right thumbstick is the yellow, of course, and the left one looks like it's really cool. I'll send you the link to it, Chase. Nice. It's really neat.
Very
nice. Let me go back to
58.
Yeah, let me go to 58 really quick. This one I thought was cool because we get to see some actual price and adverts. So this is where we see I'll move it over here really quick again so folks can see it. But
man, that PS1 is one of the nicest looking consoles that's ever been produced.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So $99, as we called out earlier when Johnny was talking about the PS2 and picking it up, and he got a PS1 at the time. $99. They lowered the price down. The PlayStation 2 was selling for $200 more at the time. So you'll see that down here. $300 back in October of 2000. But they had a few games on here from a launch perspective that you could still play on it, which would have been fun. Going down, you had the controllers that the Ocean Gate crew were using. And that comes down to basic memory cards that they had. Just some of the weird tech that was going along with this.
Fucking memory cards, man. Sony made so much goddamn money on their proprietary. I mean, it's Xbox and Nintendo also had their own memory card bullshit too, but Sony was just so rotten with memory card scams.
And at the time, you could get a Dreamcast for $150, so still you're going to get a better experience than the $100 PlayStation, potentially from a graphic standpoint, maybe not from a game quality standpoint. Still, it's just interesting to see like where things are being advertised. The best looking 64s. So not only did you have all of these monoliths coming out at the same time, but when I was going through this advertisement, I was like, fuck, there's still a very competitive Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, all battling out in that like 150 and less. And I just can't get over some of the legs that these consoles still had at the time going up against the new ones. It was crazy to see.
And we are like you're mentioning there, we are at a point where the generation is changing. And so these are probably the lowest these consoles got before the new hardware came out.
Totally.
And man, $70 for a Game Boy Color. That sounds pretty good. I would take that.
Oh yeah. And I also like at this point in time, I had the Atomic Purple. This is where I fell in love with Atomic Purple. I had this Game Boy Color. It was fucking awesome. But yeah, that was an area that I thought was really interesting to check out and see.
So I'd like us to go to one of the main stories here. Please, Bobby, if you go to 34. This is the Nintendo Space World 2000. There's a pretty big chunk here of the magazine is about this. It's like page 34 to 45. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, but the first thing I want to mention here is just I feel like I have so many memories about magazines and G4 and things like this talking about E3 And I don't feel like I remember anybody ever talking about Nintendo Space World.
No.
Which obviously they did, because it's in here in this magazine, but I just don't remember that myself of seeing this stuff. I mean, I remember hearing about the infamous Pokemon Gold and Silver 97 Space World demo where you got to see like these really early versions of some Pokemon and how fucked up some of them looked. And I mean, they certainly showed off some stuff. This is a big one. This 2000 is where they show off the GameCube tech demo for Mario 128. They show off the tech demo.
I think it's down here.
I remember
for Zelda, where you see Ganondorf and Link fighting, and it got people so fucking hyped because
then they announced Wind Waker.
Cool. And then Wind Waker came out, and it took the Wind Waker right out of their sales.
Turns out they made the right choice because Wind Waker fucking rules.
Wind Waker's great, but it's like this trailer right here was so
switch a little bit
fucking rad.
Yeah,
Meowth's Party. I remember seeing Meowth's Party. That was nuts.
Metroid.
And someday Danny O'Dwyer is going to put out 4K versions of these videos on the no clip art.
It's such a cool thing.
We've never seen them at this quality. But I think it's interesting though that you think about like Space World basically is like a proto Nintendo Direct, where Nintendo just said, yeah, what if we just put on our own fucking show and people are going to come to it because we're goddamn Nintendo. And they did, because they were goddamn Nintendo. Now, they still did E3 at the same time. Even in this article, they talked about, hey, yeah, we're showing off some stuff now, but you're going to see more of, the GameCube launch games at E3, but we're going to tell you about the Game Boy Advance today, or we're going to show off the hardware for the GameCube, and then we'll talk about software at E3.
Is Game Boy Advance the best Game Boy, Chase?
No. I mean, not this one. Game Boy Advance SP, like now we're talking. Like that's where they made a good console. This doesn't have a fucking backlight on it.
You take the original shell, you put that SP 101 display in there. Now we're cooking.
Sure.
Hey, I mean, Golden Sun. Chase loves it.
Yeah,
they did show off Golden Sun here. Golden Sun, what a fantastic fucking game. Someday Jig and I will do that for Gamers on the Go.
There's an ad, Chase, that showed a cell phone hooked up to a Game Boy.
Oh, yeah. Chase and I have already discussed this.
Yeah.
What page is that on?
It's on page 45.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Game Boy goes mobile.
It's the mobile Game Boy GP or the whatever the fuck they called it. Yeah, I mean, this was something that they really only showed really only had in Japan because cell networks here didn't work the same way. We didn't have the same infrastructure as that. But this was a way for your Game Boy to hook up to the internet through your cell phone. You could have
battles on Pokemon Crystal with this.
You could trade, you could trade Pokemon and battle Pokemon in Crystal. That looks like a very Mario Golf style game there, so I'm sure that's at least a version Camelot made. But yeah, they're talking about how you could play Famicom Wars, or I guess they called them Game Boy Wars when they were on the Game Boy. It's something that never came here, obviously, but it's weird to know that the first online trades of Pokemon you could do were all the way back in the year.
Yeah,
I guess that would have been 2001. But
this is very novel at the time. Like not. It's another reason I picked this is because it was so much stuff that we just never seen before or even considered.
It's weird that they were advertising that in this magazine. That's just very strange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. EGM was always the magazine that was like, hey, we have people in Japan, or we're going to talk. Like they had a whole section was here are the imports for this month from Japan, and they were the ones who kind of were always on that kind of cutting edge of telling you, hey, here's what's going on over there, because this is still such a it's not pre-internet, but the internet is such a nascent thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is like internet emergent at this point in time.
Yeah. Like we're not getting all the news of all the stuff that's going on in Japan. So this felt like this forbidden knowledge that EGM had that was their kind of bread and butter. We can get the weebs.
That was the main draw for me for getting EGM.
The weebs. It was the weebs.
Yes.
Also,
there's just so much cool stuff that never came over here that you get to learn about.
Yeah, that mobile adapter there, you can buy one of the eBay for between $100 and $200 these days.
Well, hey,
so,
there you go.
I'm not going to do that, but you
also, the die had already been cast for the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've played that game, by the way, Bobby.
I have not.
Yeah, baby.
I have it on my
Oh, behave.
my Omega. I can't remember what it's called. The GBA cart that lets me emulate games. Not EverDrive.
Okay.
No. Easy Flash Omega. Thank you.
Okay.
I know I get there eventually. It's not bad. It's not a terrible game.
Bobby, can you slide up to page 44 for me?
Yeah.
So they're just showing off some more Game Boy Advance launch-ish titles, launch window titles, and one of the ones they show here is a Fire Emblem game. You'd have to zoom in on that screenshot, but looking at that screenshot, those aren't characters that ever made it into Fire Emblem. This would have been Fire Emblem 6, the Binding Blade, which is the one with Roy in it.
Yeah.
That never came over here. Did get a French translation, but never came over here itself. But neither the guy or girl in that photo, those are not Fire Emblem characters, or not official ones that were finalized. I also thought this Napoleon game that they have a bigger screenshot of here on the left was interesting. That never came out here. That was a Japan and France only, not Europe, just France.
Just France.
Which makes sense. It's fucking Napoleon, right?
Yeah.
But that game sounds nuts because it is a real-time strategy game, which those are extremely rare. I talk about Warlocked on this show, but other than that, there aren't that many handheld console RTS games that you see too often. But this one also has Napoleon eventually taking on fantastical beasts. So it is not historically accurate.
How do you know?
But it does have a fan translation. So now
Still
I have
real to me,
downloaded
damn it.
that fan translation.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I will play Napoleon for the Game Boy Advance. But just seeing this, I went, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? So now I have the opportunity to know exactly what the fuck that is.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what other pages do we want to see before we wrap up?
That was all the big things for me. It is sad to see them talking about the Sega's game plan after this big story about GameCube. It's like, well,
right down here, Sega's game plan.
I remember reading a piece in here about how it might have been in the Quarterman rumor stuff, but they were talking about a GameCube and PlayStation 2 Shadows of the Empire game for Star Wars. And I went, nope, that didn't happen. that was Nintendo 64. Was that one? Sorry.
Microsoft
Bobby,
secures the developers, and if they only knew what they would be securing 23 years later.
Yep.
Yeah. Bobby, can you go to page 24 for me? 24 and 25. Mm-hmm. Also, I did like looking at that list of developers and going, I know Lionhead, and that's about it. Here's an advertisement for HBO Boxing, or as it's now known, Max, the one to watch for HBO Boxing.
God. Thanks, I hate it.
The only game featuring Royce Jones Jr. and George Foreman.
Yeah, he's got a grill to sell you.
I'm going to try and see if I can find this little thing. There was one where it talked about revenue for wrestling pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah. It was like 200 million or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
200 million or 500 million, one of those numbers. It was big.
These make me feel a lot of things every time. Yeah, that most importantly. But it just feels so much like I could just look back to yesterday. And
Jimmy does have a request. Can you go to the game that got all 10s?
What would that be on?
I don't know. The reviews is it Chrono Cross? And it's not Chrono Cross, right? One of them, Chrono Cross got a 9 here.
What is that just down here at the? let's see what we can find.
Reviews. What page
God,
were
this
they?
magazine's so fucking big.
It's so big. I think I'm on the reviews. There is that
DOA 2 hardcore.
10, 10, 10. Is that it there?
Pro Skater 2.
Yeah,
there
there's
you go. Yeah, there
10,
you go.
10,
That's
10.
it.
Hell yeah!
Pro Skater 2, hell of a game.
Not as
Still
good as
Pro
3,
Skater 3, but you know, pretty good.
Game of the month 10. A winner, hell yes. And all the stuff they've added is really useful. Create a skater. Oh wait, hang on. Is it 10, 10, 10? I don't think it is, right? Or is he talking about this here?
No. It's baked in the back of the articles there. Yeah, they each got 10s. Okay. I mean, they, for whatever reason, they give not 10s in their individual numbering, but for each person, they still give them 10s. Yeah. I don't know how any of this fucking bullshit works.
Yeah, Jiggy calls it out there.
You need to go to GamePro to like get the faces to know how you should feel about the video games.
Totally.
I didn't really like GamePro, but that is a thing you could do. I feel like we didn't talk that much about the PlayStation 2, which is what most of this magazine's about. Not that I mind. I don't have a lot to say about the PS2, but like that's what the whole magazine's about. The PS2.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, that Animorphs game! That Animorphs game is so bad on Game Boy that you just scrolled by. I saw a Games Done Quick of that Animorphs game. There you go, got a 5 here. And even as they're speedrunning it, they're talking about how terrible this game is, and how just the randomness that's built in the game. Just playing normally. I mean, speedrunning, it's a nightmare, but even just playing normally, some of the random bullshit that goes on here just makes that game barely playable, and it somehow got a 5. That's incredible.
Jiggy says it has reviews for the first PlayStation 2 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where that's at?
No, I don't even remember.
It's in the reviews portion.
I don't even remember the launch games for the PS2.
Me neither.
If only there was a way to find that information out.
What do you say? Keep looking?
I'm gonna look up PS2 launch titles, and I'll tell you what they are.
I got it right here.
It says they're in dark blue.
Armored Core 2.
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors 2. Dead or Alive 2.
Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore. That's a good game.
Madden,
there we
Midnight
go.
Club. Oh, I played the shit out of Midnight
Dino
Club.
Crisis 2, Chrono Cross, Tony Hawk's.
Oh, Kessen. I didn't play any Kessen, but Kessen.
Ridge Racer.
That seems like a bad game, honestly. There's a lot of launch titles for the PlayStation, man.
At the header,
Tech Tag Tournament, SSX.
Did we miss it? He says it's at the head.
Game of the month there. So Tony Hawk. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah. Cool magazine.
We'll wrap it up here.
Thanks, Johnny, for bringing that. That's a cool one. I love that we do this. I think this is one of the cooler deep dives that we come back to each time. Just our way to think about where we were at these years. Hearing Bobby talk about being in, what'd you say, the 8th grade?
Yeah.
Me being 11 at the time and playing Pokemon with my friends at school, and getting to see kind of these cultural artifacts. I think the price stuff that Bobby pulled up was really cool to see, of just being able to compare. You know, sometimes the more things change, the more they stay the same in some of those prices, and it's just kind of crazy. A lot of cool stuff. So thanks for bringing that one, Johnny. I appreciate it.
It's just always strange. Always so strange to look back. I have a very difficult time understanding that this was 20 years ago.
Let me ask you this question before we go. I'm going to go to eBay.com and I'm going to write the word Cyberco. How much do you think a Cyberco these days, not an Extreme, just the original Cyberco, how much do you think it would cost on eBay?
$300 to $500.
See, I would go lower. I think you can get this for like $75. Johnny, you had a number in mind? Jake says $250.
$175.
Okay, $1, Bob. Let's see here. $99. Vintage Cyberco PDA wireless entertainment system. Green, purple, and clear gray. Here's another one for $57. That might just be for the box. 144, $35 for it out of the box, untested as is, parts only.
Gross.
Man, these look so fucking sketch. What an incredible thing.
Hell yeah.
What a racist advertisement.
God. I don't know if I got everything working with our stuff here. Let me see if this works. There we go. Hey, yeah, it's working. So we've got fun things this week. Chase and I played one of my favorite games of the year on Monday night. We played Dave the Diver. And if you couldn't tune in for it, we've talked about it on our prior episodes. We also have a quick look now, which you'll find on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/casual hour. Tonight was all about EGM episode or issue 136. And Johnny, thank you for leading that deep dive. It was a ton of fun. As I talked about earlier, Ridiculous Fishing EX has a quick look going up on Thursday, July 20th. And Friday night, we are hoping to have some friends join us for Wave 5 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC.
5 of 6, right? Like
5 of 6. We're almost done with it. And we're really looking forward to hanging out with some friends and having a good time with Mario Kart. Chase, you do things.
To making you guys not have a good time.
What things do you do? That's going to happen on Saturday.
Well, that too. Yeah, I got a couple things going on. I'll talk about Pilot Program, the podcast I do with my good friend Pierce Borshane and good friend of the show, where we watch the first episode of every television show ever made. We have an episode out on The Bear now, which was really good show, and a really good episode of the podcast. We've announced that our next episode is going to be on Twilight Zone, the 1959 version of the Twilight Zone. And I don't know when we're going to record that one yet. We had a date, and then Pierce said he had to go to a baseball game, and I can't get mad if somebody's going to a baseball game. So
it's fair.
We'll figure out when that's going to happen. But excited to do that one. You can find both the episode on the Bear and all the previous episodes on shows that we've done, like Sailor Moon and Seinfeld and Hell's Kitchen and RuPaul's Drag Race and plenty of other ones at shows.acast.com/pilot program. Really good stuff there. And I'll also plug one more time, especially since Jiggy is in the chat right now. I have an article out on Codename Steam, which was my June backlog roulette winner. It's hard to call that game a winner in any aspect, but that is the game that got chosen for me to play, and I played it, and I hated it. I still hated it. I played a demo for it a long time ago. It's a terrible game, and Jiggy forced it on the list, and so this one's for Jiggy. He's caused me irreparable harm, and I hate him very much for it. But
Jiggy giveth and Jiggy taketh away.
Very true. You can go to gamersonthego.com or click the link tree and find it there and read 2,000 plus words about why I think that video fucking sucks.
There it is. All right, y'all. We will be back live on Friday with Mario Kart. We'll talk to you all then. Take care.
Bye.